As a mother, yes, at what age do you allow your child to start dating? I mean, we're not qualified because all our children, so hopefully we can get some calls. All our children are babies. But I would like to, from your experiences and you've been through a teenager, I mean, when was it okay to say, okay, I have a boyfriend? Where was the time? When is the right time to declare, that's my man?
I don't know, but let me tell you something. As a teenager, I was very tall, skinny, gangly. Guys were not attracted to me. And I feel, for the girls who were really cute and pretty, I felt that they had a lot to... I mean, in hindsight, like, my God, how did they cope with all the teenage juices and everything? So I prayed that my daughter, when she's the teenager, she'll be tall, thin, and gangly. And you get her, give her some time to mature before she gets there. You know, this is something I heard Will Smith was talking about his daughter. He said, because his daughter was raised in a home where men are respectful, she was raised around good men, she could not detect bad guys. When she became 17, 18, she would be doing things with boys anyhow. She didn't have the radar to say, this person may have bad, intentions. She didn't get that. And that's the thing, we raise our children in a wholesome environment and then we release them to the world.
And then
so mine is that, so my own is I hope she's much older before she goes.
Dele, are you there? Oh, we lost that.
So,
let me come to you.
Yeah, so,
you already know your own.
Okay, so I think we need to start having conversations with my daughter is becoming a teenager. And we need to start having conversations about dating and what proper dating means. So some of us grew up in an era where we didn't have that conversation with our parents. So we didn't know what dating meant. And you just see people around, they've dated this person, they've cancelled the person, they dated that person, they've cancelled, they've run through 10 people, his body counts 10, some 15, 20, and all that. But when we now start raising kids, you need to understand or make them understand that dating is about getting to know this person. So one of the rules that I have, and I learned that from my church, my father's church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where they allow teenagers date, is that you must not go to this person's place without a friend. You must go in twos. You must go to open places, maybe like an eatery or park, Just get to know the person. That's dating. So from 18, you can have that. You can date. You can say, okay, I'm dating John or I'm dating Jude. Jude can come to my place. You must have conversations in open places. You know the boundaries. You set the boundaries. So, no. See, you will do, as a parent, you will do your best.
Yes,
you will teach all you can teach. If you decide to go and be crazy, it's on you.
Let me go on a break. I would really like to know how a Muslimat woman like Nima was able to date. We'll come back after the break and talk about it.
Set up.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we started this conversation talking about when to release an adult into the world to begin to live a life, make a responsible living. But now we're now going into at what point do you let a child start dating as a teenager? So you're talking about dating.
Yes, I was talking about dating. And I also want to say that let's ensure that we teach both the boys and the girls the same thing. So what I see is the girls are taught differently on how to comport themselves at the dating and all of that. The boys are given more like a free hand. For you to be a boy, there are certain things you should have done at a certain age. Don't know whose daughter. Because we always forget that part of the story. Yeah. And also, let's not ignore their feelings. Their body changes at the time, and there are certain things that they feel. So while you are talking to them about dating, you should also talk to them how to handle the feelings when it comes. So we always assume our girls don't like boys. They do. Yeah. And they may not tell you. So, hey, if a boy is liking you, do it like this, do it like that. If you are liking the boy, Yunko, have you taught that girl how to handle that feeling? So let's have that open conversation. When you have so and so feeling, understand it's a feeling, and you can control your body. Yeah. When the time is right, you will do it. You will be tired. Let us break it down.
Let me come to you, Nima.
Okay, so
how was dating for you?
I dated. I had my parents would expose you to a certain circle, and so most possibly you would date in that circle, and they won't judge you. So I remember that 18. When I had someone first of all say to me that you want to date me, I came home and I said to my parents that somebody wants to date me and you'll be visiting here every day. So the wrong thing that wasn't allowed in my house is have a secret relationship. If they will sit you down and tell you if you find out something will happen. So the person can call. My father used to call it, we don't want a demand. outside. So when they ask you, give the it's the man. You'll be able to.
This is the best thing.
You want to do, and he didn't impose religion early. He didn't say religiously this is what you do. He first of all established my dignity so well that if you are dating me and you're talking certain things, I feel that you're disrespectful to me. Immediately,
I love that.
he will push you out. So I dated and I broke off relationships and I enjoyed it. So and I got to.
There was no secret for you.
No secret. Even so the older person. Was a conversation. I remember that older person conversation, and I was shocked that my parents weren't judging me. My mom was quick to judge, but my dad. Like, I trust you do the right thing. And I always make sure.
Let me take this call. Ola has been holding from Lekki. Thanks for calling. Are you there? Ola? Yeah, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I actually love your topic. And I remember a story, not a true life story, when I was growing up. And there was this brother that's in university. So we were just looking up to him. So there was a particular girl that they don't normally allow her to go out. She comes from secondary school, she go back. So when the lady girl gained admission to university, so the guy was there. So in somewhere they were packing, when you get admission, your parents will be happy. They were packing the food store and everything that she was going to school. So the guy called us. I said, okay, if you know, he said, I pity this girl that's going to school. So if the woman should know that they wouldn't have allowed her to go to school, I was like, what's going on? So I didn't understand until I get admission to the university. And there was a particular call girl that was everywhere. So she now told us that, okay, what she was doing was because of her parents. Because when she was growing up, her parents told her that whenever a man touches you like this, you are pregnant. So as a result of that, so when she got to university, so she got that, okay, a man touched me and there was nothing. So that means that my parents lied to me. So as a result of that, she came in and then she went wild. So that was.
Now when touching.
So be careful with what
thank you, Ola. We're going to that. So that was never said earlier. There are no secrets.
So I agree with that sort of upbringing with our children, boys or girls. We need to be honest with them. We need to open the lines of communication. A boy writes her a little note, a cross letter, and she brings it to you. Mommy, that's not the time to remind her of Jesus said. Jesus did not send you to school, because I had that with my mom. My mom, I don't know, the way she did it was like, anytime you brought up, at a certain age, anytime I brought up anything, it was like, is that what I sent you to school to do? Is that what your mates are doing? So I just knew that with her, you did not have that sort of conversation. But then as I grew older, then she would want to have the conversation, but she was not the go-to for me, because like, I was not comfortable discussing that with her. That was something we had to build later on. So, and I saw friends who, their parents were like the cool moms. They would discuss everything with them. They would tell them everything. They seemed to make less mistakes. Yeah. And there was another thing. Secondly, they seemed to also know who they were. They were confident and they had pride in who they were. There's that age as a teenager where when the heartbreak is as if you're about to die. You see them crying. Oh, it was Valentine's. Someone just sent them cake. They would be all over the floor. And it used to bother me. Like, if this is what it is, I really don't want to be in it. So it's important that children have a mentor, a parent, that they can discuss these feelings, because it's new. It's just like walking for a child. You hold their hands, you give them a walker. So with emotions, it has to be that way as well, that you're there to guide them.
Let me take this call from Lillian. Lillian, are you there? Hello, Lillian, are you there?
Hello, Kola, good morning.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm first-time caller.
Welcome to the show. Go ahead, Lillian. All right, so I was going to talk about, because as we're having this conversation on, it's never too late to start having this conversation with your teenagers. Because I know that, my very first love letter came when I was in primary school. I'll never forget that guy, Bolaji Balug or something like that.
My God, you kept it in there?
I remember, like I said, it's there. He loved me, this love letter, this nice. I kept it till I was in secondary school because it meant so much to me. I cherished it for a long time.
You people were the ones that enjoyed now. At that time, we were not fine. They did not wear langa.
So I had that, but there was so much secrecy, and I really don't want us to touch on that. There's more secret, so I kept it secret, and all through the boyfriends you have, you keep it secret. You just hush, 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 hush. It was until I came to the US where I was living with my brother's wife, and she broke it down. Like so I got there at 15, but at 15 she still had enough opportunity to help me understand, so reorientate me. She taught me everything, what you see at parties, how you go out in twos, don't go, you know, she really schooled me. So if a parent is watching us right now, and you feel like they didn't have that conversation, no matter, there's never too late. Even if she's 17 or 18,
it's
it's
too late.
never
Because
too late.
you see, trust takes a while.
You have to build it.
My mom was such a disciplinarian that at some point, if I didn't have my dad as my right-hand person, I probably wouldn't talk to any of my parents. But she knew when she had overdone it. And so she looked towards my auntie and said, Bimbo, help with these girls. You know, be their auntie. And my auntie used to call me Shume. Shume means you're sheltered, virgin, everything. You don't have eyes. So I wanted to prove that I'm smart and everything. So if you are talking to me, I sit well. And then when I went on dates in my auntie's house, was most interesting. She would take some money and give you.
Just in case.
Just in case you're insulted.
Nima,
pay for
your food. A typical date. I want to hear that.
This is a typical date. Go to a military, have lunch and talk.
Yes.
So maybe once in a while.
No touching, no touching.
It's
a question now.
No touching. Even I didn't want to be touched. So
even if you're not a Muslim, no touching, no
when the movie started, that was what my best friend Obi said, that because you're a Muslim, you'll be saying no touching for yourself and be allowing touching for me. So because I say, Ashimi is your friend now, you should. I should be like, what are you
Okay, let me take this call. Moi, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're live. Go ahead, please, Moi.
Okay. I believe there's no perfect parent. Only a parent that God has helped.
Yes.
And
wisdom, girl.
for every child, they are unique. And I believe every parent needs discernment and skill to train every child accordingly. Because we cannot have a particular measure for everyone. You have to study your child, if it's a girl or a boy. What is good for A might not be good for B. And what is good for B might not be good for A. So I believe every parent should desire the grace of discernment so we can handle the children differently and how we should, so we won't make mistakes in life. So basically, that's my contribution.
Thank you. Such a wise young woman.
Yes.
So this,
I
wanted to come to the kissing matter.
Okay. I just wanted to do that
because we all have this night, we're having a conversation now. We'll just go on dates, go and watch a movie and go home. Yeah, right. Is that what you do?
Yes.
You know, you say your own. Is that what you do?
Yes.
But that's not what me I hear they do.
What do you hear?
What did you do? Tell me what I heard they do.
They go far. It's true.
Let's break it down.
Real life.
Because in real life, you're 16, you're 18, you like a guy, you know, you go to the movies. I see these young girls. They do much more than just watch a movie. They are doing they are. I don't use the hard word. I'm looking at the soft word. They are cuddling. Yes, cuddling is a good word. They cuddle. You know, they do stuff like that in the movies. So as a parent, I don't know, how do you picture and even see your child? Somebody's cuddling my baby.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking
in the
about
cinema. I don't want to phantom that picture.
I pray to not happen. I'm going to fasting and prayer for this man.
So this is the conversation I want us to have. Like, there's a parent right now who has shielded their child or their boy, their son, all their lives. And this child she has a guy that she really, really likes. And the guy is putting her under pressure to do a lot of things. These girls girls have this pressure.
Yes,
they want to touch, they want to hold, they want to do that. And you're like, I'm an adult. I'm now, I'm busy, help me out.
Mariah, you can always only do what you can do as a parent, which is to give the guidance. The person who would implement will decide for herself what she wants to implement.
But she doesn't know what she wants for herself. She's too young to know what she wants for herself.
We assume she doesn't know what she wants for herself, but her body is speaking to her and she wants to listen to the body.
So you train them to talk to the body?
Yes.
Training them to talk to your body.
Listen. So you can train them to understand self-awareness.
Okay.
How exactly am I feeling about this person? Okay. Now have the conversation that you should first of all value your body. Value who you are. Value your dignity. Build in them from very early a very good self-esteem that they are not seeking for validation from the outside. So when the guy does not say, I love you, you are not killing yourself because you know daddy and mommy loves you and everybody around you loves you. If you make them value themselves, they will, on their own, not want to give it out cheaply. They will put a price by themselves. They put a price by themselves. So hold on, Nima. So you start teaching them early that these feelings will come, but ask yourself, is this person worth it?
Deserving.
Can I give myself to this person?
May I say something? So I get that conversation. I mean, for many of us growing up, we used to see those movies. I don't know if you remember them, where they will show those teenage pregnancy movies. They will show a girl and a boy and how the boy will tell her all these things. We grew up in church where they tell you the words, you are the temple, your body is the temple. So we hear all those things. But then we have our friends, our peers, who will tell us how wonderful we are. The person you listen to is the one that is closest in age to you. That's the one you find the most relatable. They are coming home, they are coming back to the dormitory with teddy bear and cake and everything. So those are the people. See, my own is I still pray that my child does not develop early. I'm telling you.
Those of us that should have developed early, what should we do now?
Secondly, the second one is communication. And then as a parent, then you need to understand that some things will happen and that you can't control it.
With or without you.
Yes. So you know that thing, the parenting, there's a parenting that we do, which is the parenting of controlling everything.
You can't.
And I think a parent will start getting some relief and some confidence when they realize that I can't control everything, but I'm trusting you that this is what I'm teaching you and this is the reason why, and I'm trusting that you make the right decision for yourself. You have to start teaching a child about disappointing themselves. You know, it's not about disappointing me. How do you feel? How does it make you feel?
Let me take Victor, then I come to Nima. Victor, are you there?
So be a storytelling parent. I loved my parents' stories. And I must say thank you to my mentors. I had mothers. My wedding said there before that, sat as my mothers. I had mothers who were willing to dash me their stories. And one of them, she was a pastor's daughter, a bishop's daughter. She grew up in, and they gave, they would leave her for another very Christian family. And then the son had gotten into bad gang and decided to rape her. I heard that story at 15, turning 16. It wising me up, sharp. I borrow sense. So I love the stories that I grew up around. I knew when I leave my drink, and the possibility of what could happen. When I didn't trust anybody. So I think we should be storytelling parents. My dad used to do something. On Sundays, Pastor Bimbo Dukoya, may she rest, she was had a session on LTV, singles and something. As Christian as that show was, all of you come here, film in this house, come and watch it, because on her on that sermon, what they call this in church, that session, she would give sermon about chastity, and then people will come and be sharing their experience. And there was a particular session on secondary virginity and all of those things. So the mistakes people were sharing, the father just sat in the crowd and let us digest it. And I remember that night, what we call the talim, we do a family session, and he was just going on and on about that person. What do you think happened? So we were the ones expressing what we thought could have happened. I think enrich your children with the stories of your past, your mistakes, and be free to push them to a neighbor or family friend's mistake. The mistake does not have to be their own. It doesn't have to be their life experience. They can share from other people's.
Let me take this call from Lillian. Lillian, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, based on the topic we are discussing, I will allow my daughter to date a guy when I notice she is mature. When she is very, very mature. Because sometimes age is just a number. Somebody can be 22 and is acting like 18. Somebody can be 30 and still behaving like 20. So I will watch her and make sure she is mature, mentally matured to handle a relationship.
I know, I get you.
Then what I will do, I will come in and guide her as a mother to keep a healthy relationship. Then based on the previous topic people were discussing about the way parents normally guide their children, I like that pattern of protecting a child. Like, don't give them free hand to just be too free, no matter the age, even if they are above 18. I won't give them that free hand. I like the way my parents guided me. To the extent when I got married, I'll go out with my husband, and I'll be thinking that my dad doesn't call me. At the time I was like, I forgot myself. I was like, my dad has not called me. It was 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, my dad would call me. So when I married and went out with my husband, I was like, I need to go home. My husband was looking at me and he was laughing. You need to go home. You are married, for God's sake.
Thank you very much, Lillian.
Because I was really guided.
Thank you very much, Lillian.
Let me say, sorry, Miriam. Let me say this. Sometimes we assume that we are the ones that give the permission for the dating.
Exactly.
That we are the ones allowing the dating. What if they don't tell you? A lot of us dated in secret.
now.
Yeah.
Nobody told anybody anything, and you just assume that this girl has no relationship. She's just the good girl. She's always at home tying wrapper, cooking in the kitchen. She's the minister in the church and everything is going well. Meanwhile, under the sea, things are moving.
Yeah, so I want to also refer to what Nima said.
No, hold on. Let's not assume that we are the ones that will allow. Let's just hope and trust that they will take the right decisions by bringing us into the know. Because if they choose to hide it, we may not know.
Yeah.
Also,
so I just want to refer
price.
to something that Nima said about being a storytelling parent. And that was something that I learned a lot from. And I remember one particular incident. Someone wanted me to do some form of modeling, you know, and that was before university, and was saying I should meet someone. And I was so uncomfortable. You know, I was asking all the questions. I was like, have you ever been abused before? Or have you ever been assaulted before with all these questions? It wasn't because it happened to me. It was because I've heard so many stories. I knew the questions to ask. I knew that it was okay to feel uncomfortable the way I was feeling. And then concerning Pastor Bimbo that you were saying, I remember this conversation I had with my mom. She repeats it over and over again. We were watching Pastor Bimbo, and I was like, why is this a big deal? She was like, it's a big deal. People are learning. I said, but this is common sense. These are all the things you just tell us at home now, just regular conversations. So every time she'd be like, you know what's very upset? These are just regular conversations we have at home. But it was true. It was the conversations we had at home. So it did not mean, it wasn't a big deal for me to go to church and have this pastor talk to us about it. So I agree with Nima that you must make it a part of your everyday conversation because you do not know when that child will be ready. When we say the child should be mature, how do you know? Do you know when she's already thinking it? I have a 7-year-old who talks about boyfriends. She watches Disney. She talks about, I can't wait to have a boyfriend. I can't wait to have a boyfriend so that I can do what with this boyfriend? So we can dance. I'm like, okay. But so, you know, so that means I had some conversations with her concerning this.
I want us to really to focus a bit on that storytelling because I admire a lot of things about my husband and a lot of the way he thinks, his maturity, and it comes from storytelling. His father was a storyteller, so it's not just in this area of dating, but it's in everything. You tell, you share, open your mouth and speak and share stories because that one of the things that I didn't have so much from my mom. My mom was a very quiet person; she didn't used to talk much. But maybe if we had more of those kind of conversations, I mean, there was a friend I had in the university. I won't mention her name. Very good, we were like best friends. And when she found that out, I was 21 and I was still a virgin. She's like, how can you be a virgin?
Yes.
You know, that whole place, there'll be cobwebs there. No, we have to, you know. She really told me, and I was getting all skippy. Damn, you won't be able to get pregnant again. She really made me feel. So I didn't have pre-knowledge of that. So I was really depressed. Like, oh my goodness,
this is good
have I kept myself for this long just to know like, I won't be able to have children? But luckily, I had a guy, my brother's wife. I came and I said, so I heard this. I said, don't mind them. She now helped to re-educate me. That no, take your time. But the truth is that we don't have a lot of people, role models for our young people. Aside from you, sometimes your children might not be able to come to tell you. It's okay because that's your parents. But surround them
aunties that they can
them with responsible aunties and uncles who they can refer to over time. Because this is so crucial for them in their growing up.
So there's also a point where, a part where we have kids who grow up in homes where they have the storytelling. They go to the church. That's what is preached. They see everything. They see the models around them, and yet they make their own decisions.
No. Life happens.
No, it's not life happening. They choose.
You know, there are many factors.
Hold on. There are different factors that could make something happen. But this particular one just chooses, I want to go this way. I don't want to be like you people. And there's nothing you can do about it. So at the end of the day, is the grace of God with everything that you do. And there's also another thing as a parent. So if you're a parent who says it and you don't live it, you are going to confuse that child and they will go for the action and not what you say. So some people had parents who would say,
so that I don't forget it.
Don't drink, don't do this, don't do that, and they do it. And this child observes. Tomorrow, you start complaining, I trained you, I did this, I did that.
That one,
do you understand?
Before she forgets.
So there are two things, and this one was earlier because we talked about personalities and raising children. There are some children that are going to make their mistakes.
Yeah, by themselves.
That is how they are. They only learn from their mistakes. And then there are children that learn from other people's mistakes. And I always pray. And I have one of my children seems to be the sort of that child that wants to learn from their mistakes. And that's my prayer, that you don't have to make these mistakes. You can learn from someone else. So you may have that.
Yeah.
Then you have some that have learned. But also, you know, we're talking about many factors. We've talked about children who seem to have grown up in good homes and then they lead a certain lifestyle. Then you find out that there was abuse, sexual abuse that they did not report.
Somewhere.
You know, that there was this uncle or this pastor that the parents confided in and they would send that child to that place and that child was being abused. So we put all that into consideration, but all things being equal,
the grace of God.
Now come to you, Mr. Aribatishe from the UK. Good morning, are you there? Mr. Aribatishe, you're live.
Yes, you see, Morayo, I greet all of you there.
Yes, sir.
To take this very topic for the parents to permit, I find it extremely too bitter for me to swallow. You see, you can see that all of you there look beautiful. Your parents have been so perseverant and strict. That's why we are enjoying you today. Let me give you a story of my daughter in Navy school. When my daughter was in Navy school, nursery, teachers and all people say, oh, Daddy, I want to marry your daughter. And they really mean it. It's not because I became strict. I waved away all these brothers. You see, so parents is like hen when hen actually egg or during the time of incubation. There is no special permission. The time of maturity we show itself that there needs a partner. It's not the parent to say, oh, I permit you go and start dating. And that may not make any tangible things in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Aribatishe. Go ahead.
So, like I said, life happens. I love that my parents were not judging, and they also didn't judge my friends. I came home with all of my friends. They could sleep over and all of those things. And they made some mistakes that we cried together over. You will find a girl who, maybe for want of one bad parenting or error at home, think that it's okay, let me just find this person who loves me and help me, and then make the mistake of sex. You know, and it was a mistake because it was something she regretted. I remember my father saying to one, just repent and be fine. And God is always forgiving, and you'll be fine. And, you know, and she became a better, in fact, she's a much better person than me today, even much more religious. So it's not exactly for want of good parenting or guidance that some things happen.
Yeah.
Another friend, what we found when we were in JS3, she had a guy who had gone into an arrangement with his friends on how many babe I go knock. Not this poor girl got her pregnant. Had a video then, you know, about it. Back in 96. And, you know, it would threaten her and all of those things. My parents made that story a story, not from a point of judging, but a point of being careful. And the poor girl, she's regained her steps. So a lot of times they do those mistakes, but it's not for want. I love her parents, that from the East, the way they handled it. Because she was at a suicidal point, they quickly came to her aid, assisted her.
Thank you, Nima, for taking us there. Because, so we've said all the parts of raising the children, but mistakes happen.
When it happens.
You like a girl, you like a guy, and you just didn't plan to have sex. Something happened, one thing led to another. You did it, and then she's pregnant. It was a mistake, it was a one-night stand, and you didn't plan it. But as parents, no parent wants to hear this. But when it happens, you have to be mature about it. Because how you handle it could determine what happens to that girl afterwards, or that boy afterwards. Because at the end of the day, they always get second chances. That's the truth. Life will always give you second chances. So if you parents don't give that child a second chance, they will find their second chance, and they will move on, and they'll survive. And they'll become, they can be single.
They become resentful to you.
They become resentful. So the truth is that, how do parents handle when these mistakes happen?
Yeah, Mariah, what I say is I ensure that I tell my children that no matter what happens, I would always love you. I would always have your back. You don't have to earn my love. I am your parent. My love is unconditional. But we need to start paying attention to what you do, because there are consequences of every action. So before you do it, ask yourself, if this happens, if there's a backlash, can I bear this consequence? As long as you know that you can bear the consequence, no wahala. For me, I would always give my support, because I'm not going to live your life for you. I'm not going to walk in your shoes for you. I don't know God's plan for you. I just want to believe that since you came through me, I will nurture you as best as I can. But don't ever think that there's anything you will do in this life that will make me take away my face from you. Never.
Let's take some comments on Facebook and
yeah, and then talking. Okay, you want to take a comment?
Okay, so we have some. In Parable, it says, as long as the girl is mentally and emotionally ready to be in a relationship, because these days, the rate at which girls take relationships seriously and then get served their breakfast, heartbreaking, bracket, is alarming. No, most girls who are very pure in the eyes of their parents, but deep down, they have lots of boyfriends at their DMs. Make I no shake table too much. Fumi says, at 20 years, once they see that he or she is matured enough to take care of him or herself.
I've shared the story when you go to Silverbird. Back then, when we used to go to cinema, once you enter the toilet of Silverbird Galley, you see all these girls, 14, 13, changing their clothes. They come in jeans and T-shirt, and they change it to all the skimpy, the spaghettis, and you see them changing their clothes, using their makeup. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this
and the parents would think
they went to the movies with your girlfriends.
Mariah, that's a question we should ask is that for lack of good parenting, or is this just peer pressure? Because you feel some of these kids, you're like, the parents talk to them and everything. You can wear what you want to wear in the house. Of course, with your parents' guidance, like maybe that skirt is a little too short. I don't think you should wear it. But all the girls outside are wearing the latest shorts that Beyonce is wearing. Yeah. So, so that's the part that scares me. There's a video that my husband sent me recently of young girls, they're teenagers, and they're having a drinking party.
Yeah,
they had and they were passing it around. And obviously these girls look like they come from good homes. Yes. And all of them doing the same thing. Ew. And I remember times when we were younger, would hear of a classmate that had drank so much, they had a competition where they would drink hot drinks, a whiskey or something, and then they die.
Pass out.
So now when that happens, when the mistake happens, the question is, what do you do? I have seen parents who have given their children a chance, and they have maybe carried the child, maybe like a pregnancy, and said to their daughter, go ahead, go with school. But I've seen some people who have been so upset. The daughter never goes to school. The baby is being passed from one family to the other. You have to forgive your child. Yeah. And then you start again. And now she's coming from a point of experience, from a point of mistake.
We hope
she understands that the consequences more now is in real, she understands that she sees the realness of the consequences, and then they need support more than ever. So, because I had a message from someone once where it was so hard for her to move on because she had a child. And I know that many parents, then used to make that mistake where once your child makes a mistake, then you let her go. Please.
Yeah, but how many people's school fees are we going to now be paying? We have not finished training you now. Now add another one.
She will go get work at some point. So let me quickly just build on Miriam saying, hoping that they would learn because they've had experience. Yes. We had I had a cousin who, I don't know, for want of love. So don't make your children hungry for love. That they will go back over and over and interpret love to mean sex.
Say it again.
Don't make your children hungry for love, so much so that they would interpret it to mean sex. So you have a guy tell you every day, show me you love me, show me you love me. If you tell me the matter too much, I insult you, I walk away. Because growing up, I try to do it to my children. You will see my children every time they tell themselves, I'm beautiful. I try to do that validation for them. I do it because I had it. I loved it. Yeah. I grew up not sure of myself, short hair. I didn't have as long hair as my sisters. I didn't have the body shape on time. I didn't board on time. 16, we never board.
All of us,
So we just drive for everywhere. My father used to, every day, you're so beautiful, Nima. Your name is Blessing. Your name is Favor. And all those things just come up. And if it tells me, I look into the mirror and I tell myself, I'll be boasting. To
show them so much. So I think I've learned this.
Love for me was
show them so much love. Let them value their body.
Yes.
Let them value so they can put a high price. They are the ones eventually they are the ones to make a decision.
At the end of the day.
And when the price is to be paid. So in our house, the price was to be paid at your
marriage.
Dowry,
Yes.
at marriage. So we had this price that is not for everybody, and the price was to be paid until certain rights.
And even if you don't get to
Boys,
marriage,
even if boy children,
boys,
children. I would like for us to have fathers calling and tell
let's
us
have a
how
conversation.
they are telling their boys.
Part two of this,
Yes.
how are they raising our boys?
Boys.
Is it for you to
Because we
explore
have
the world?
good, because we have seen some fathers carry shoulder when their boys
Are
carry
doing
babes.
some things.
They'll be like, that's my boy. Exactly.
Yeah, we need to talk
So
about that.
we need to know.
We're going to have the part two of this is how are these men raising these
Their boys, yes.
Can they raise boys to be more responsible, more respectful,
Because it's the
and
boys
hold
that
their
come
thing
and
and
meet
control
our-
their thing till after marriage?
The boys are the ones that come and meet our girls.
Yes.
So we have to raise them right.
So we'll discuss it next week on this matter. That's all we can take, ladies. You didn't take any more messages over here?
Yeah, so Tumishe says, start teaching your children how to multitask. I think the first topic, it's called being responsible and not dependent or entitled.
Yeah.
Some of our cultures that are not helping us should be made away with.
Yeah.
Abiyewa Onyeka said, God bless my dad. At the point, my dad would call me and admire my dressing and tell me I'm beautiful.
that.
When I was going to Uniben, guys admired me and I said, I know, my dad had
You
already told me.
So First Akiboyewa says it's always good for our children to feel secure knowing that their parents could help them financially should they find themselves in financial difficulties.
Yeah.
Ojeve Josephine says, learn from other mistakes, like my father would say.
Okay, I think we've gotten quite a bit from this. Thank you, ladies. That was a good conversation.
Thank
That's
you.
all we can take on the show. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.